Hi everybody, this is Josh from Pomeroy Creative. In this video, I wanted to show some tools that I think are just commonly overlooked. One of them is Inbox. This is Google's sort of new iteration of Gmail. And Gmail already, I think, is one of those tools that has been overlooked for a long time. I use Gmail all the time, but now I'm using Inbox, and I'm really falling in love with it. For what I do, and maybe you can find a workflow that works good for you, but one of the things that I have to do for my job, for my occupation as a graphic designer, is stay in tight contact with all of my clients, and messaging them and emailing them and sending them images to get feedback on is all very vital to what I do besides the creative work, actually executing the work. And so Inbox, as you can see here, this is kind of a perfect time for me to show you what I see is the real power of Inbox for me. One is visual email. The way that it has laid out your conversations in these email lists is just fantastic, and I can quickly see and preview these images in the email just at a glance and at the click of a button. Or if you're on the mobile version of Inbox, the tap of a finger. And so you can see these conversations kind of in a timeline as well as visually, which is so great. By clicking on the conversation, you can see how it kind of expands, and you can really see, you can dig down in further through here with the date on every single message. And it's making email, I think, so much more like the convenience of like text messaging. It's more like a conversation, just in the visual way that it's laid out. And then the ability to preview these images, for me, I hope for my clients that they're able to take advantage of this tool, because I think that receiving preview images or mock-ups and that kind of thing in this format would just be so snappy and quick to be able to see something and respond appropriately in that same message thread. So I'm using Inbox a lot. The other feature about Inbox I really like is reminders. Now I can snooze things, and basically what that does is it tells Inbox to say, hey, bring me back this email at this specific time. And so you can see here, I could do it tomorrow, I could do it next week, or I could pick a date and time, or I could pick a location. And at that location, that GPS location, it would bring back my email with a notification on my phone, for example, to say, hey, don't forget about this. And it would bring it back up in a sort of first top priority. That's what I'm trying to say, top priority way. I can also create reminders for myself. And this happens like right inside the conversation. So this is fantastic for me. As you can see here, right at the top here, I can just type in here, and you can see it gives me some options. Remind me to call, and as I just kind of click through, I can actually do very little typing. Call Veripel, and it even puts her number in here for me, which is awesome. And I can just save that reminder and recall it back at another time. Or I could say something very more specific and say, edit Photoshop comp or something like this, and just click save. And that's saved as a reminder. Now over here is where all my reminders live, right over here in this left hand menu. So under my reminders, I can see all of my reminders that need attention and all of my reminders that are done, which is super, super great. And And so bringing reminders right into your inbox, your place where you do email, is just incredible. And I really enjoy this a lot. To get rid of this reminder, for example, I can just click on it to open up the conversation, and then just click the X, and it gets rid of it. If I'm in the reminders over here, I can also I could just click the check mark if this happened to be not checked. So I can uncheck it, and basically it tells me that's not done yet. But in this case, this one was done, so I can just hit the check mark. There's also the three-dot menu. I can trash it or move it to somewhere else. So there's a lot of things just right in there, but mostly the conversation layout with very visual visual first kind of approach is really, really helpful for me. The other thing is reminders, having the ability to add reminders for myself and schedule those reminders and schedule emails to kind of pop back up and notify me not to forget something. Those are some really key things for me. This is kind of whittled down my list of tools that I need to use. I used to use either calendar or a reminder app for my phone or other things. Now I can just go to inbox, and that's my email, that's my reminders, and it actually will send a reminder to your Google Calendar as well, so you'll get a calendar alert on those reminders that you've set for yourself. Okay, the other tool that I wanted to show you is actually Facebook messages or Facebook Messenger. And I actually like to use it. I prefer to use it that's right inside of Facebook, and I just go down to the messages here and then see all. And this opens up sort of, again, kind of like an inbox for your Facebook contacts. And what I like about Facebook really is the speed at which I can get feedback. This has been one of the quickest ways that I've gotten feedback from clients, is using Facebook messages in Facebook. And I believe the reason for that is that it's a platform that people already know how to use for the most part. Now, there's a lot of things that Facebook can do that people aren't taking advantage of, or maybe they just haven't learned how to use yet. But Facebook messages are easy, they're quick, and they're simple. And so for those reasons, I think that's been the cause for being able to sort of retrieve that client feedback that I need in order to do my job, or the next steps of it, at least, to the best of my ability. So again, it's sort of managing these conversations in a way that makes sense for me and also is convenient for my customers or my clients. And one of the great things about messages in Facebook is the group messages. So say you have a team that you're working with. This happens a lot with organizations or businesses, where they have not just one person, maybe they have the marketing person, but they also have the president or the CEO or somebody else that's involved. Or for like a church, you want your maybe your worship leader and your pastor, maybe a creative arts director. These types of teams that work together that kind of all contribute to the feedback that I need as a designer for the project that we might be working on. And being able to do it all in a one group message is so great, because the whole team gets notified when I send a message, and as well as sharing files. Now, I think this is really a big thing that's overlooked, and I'm finding that this is common. People don't realize you can actually send zip files in a Facebook message. Now, yes, there are limitations for file size, etc., but so are there in email. So this is for quick sort of, hey, what do you think about this? And sending them a screenshot. This works so well. And I'm really able to not just keep up on my end, but I'm able to retrieve that information that I need, that feedback from my client, because it's something they already know how to use. Now, if I'm sending them to like Trello or Basecamp or some other project management site, these things are great, and I know a lot of people use them. I use this for a long time. I'm a big fan of both Trello and Basecamp. Now, they both do different things, and they both have strengths and weaknesses, but the basic need for them is this right here. The ability to collaborate with people on a project and keep communication clear. Now, one of the drawbacks from the Facebook messages as your project management sort of tool is that there's not really any sort of categories for conversations. It's all in one big thread, unless you start a new conversation. But for ongoing projects that are focused maybe on one thing, so if you like in this case, we're looking at what this is going to be the overall branding of the entire church that I'm having to work with. I have another Facebook message that's ongoing just with the nursery director, and so I'm working with things with her in Facebook messages, sending specific things to her that pertain to the children's department. And with the entire group, I'm sharing these more overarching umbrella concepts and ideas, designs, visuals, and everything that's going to bleed into all of the other departments and ministries involved. So anyway, Facebook messages, I think, is another really, really great tool. These are both very much for sort of the conversation, project management, that I believe it will be easy for people to get into. And that's why I recommend using them. Facebook messages, I can drag and drop images in here, and I can attach, like I said, I could attach a zip file if I wanted to, or a PDF, and share it with an entire group of people. And so sending quick snapshots, screenshots, that kind of thing. Maybe I'm working on a website, like in this case, these were mock-ups for the website. And I can just send these right over. And the other thing I really like about Facebook is it shows me, see right here down here, seen by Cherie, Alicia, and 2 more. And it shows me all 4 people there that have seen this message. And for me, that's really important. I can see that people have seen it. And so I kind of can anticipate whether or not I'm getting through in conversation, so that this back and forth cannot just be lateral, but we're actually going somewhere, and I'm not just waiting on feedback. And also ask questions and stay engaged with my customers. I think that those kind of communication tools would really help you and help your customers. Try using something that they already know how to use, rather than having to retrain them on some other platform that you're probably still learning yourself. I find that this could be the solution you've been looking for communication, client contact, client connection, conversation, getting the back and forth done, as well as iterating, sending files, getting feedback, sending files, getting feedback. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video.